What's going on, family? So let's dive right into this. I hope y'all as excited as I am, because I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a fight and this is a card to this magnitude that I've been waiting for a very, very long time. So I just gotta say, we already know how tough the Dagestanian boys are, how tough those Russians are. My hat goes off to them. Their discipline is just off the charts. But to have Kamaru Usman, granted how his last 2 to 3 fights went, and the absolute terror and monster of a stretch and streak that Khazmat is on, it's just, I don't see stylistically a better matchup. Both fighters pose a significant threat to the other. Obviously, I would give the overall striking edge to Kamaru, and everything else, I'm not gonna lie, I gotta get a Khazmat. UFC 294. This is insane. Khazmat is an absolute monster, and I got that utmost respect for Kamaru, but hands down, bro, I gotta go with Khazmat. I feel like he's gonna pull it off. I feel like he's gonna prove a lot of people wrong, and I feel like if Kamaru does not win this fight, he will retire. But if he does win, I feel like that he retires regardless. I only see him fighting 2 more fights max, but he's late 30s. What is he, 35, 34? So he's pretty much getting up there. But look at Bones. Bones came back after a 2.5, 3-year layoff, and he dominated Cyril Gane in absolute fat. It really wasn't even much like a surprise. And I betted on Bones because, that's John Jones. That's like betting on Mike, during the finals. You just don't bet against certain fighters, when everything is on the line. John is one of those fighters. But back to the UFC 294. I feel like there is no better matchup, and then we got Volk and Islam on the main card. Oh my goodness, this is going to be one of the greatest, I feel like, top 5 to 10 technical championship and potential bout fights in UFC history, period. It has to be, given the history. Kamaru and Khazmat, they had been jawing a bit back and forth previously. We already know the history, between Volk and Islam, and a lot of people feel like Islam lost, that fight, that he just had with Volkanovski. Me personally, I feel like, he lost as well. I'm just gonna keep it a beam. I feel like that Volkanovski kind of got the slight edge, and then he had that crucial knockdown late in the 5th round. So that's big, man. And Volk is an absolute monster. Volk is, to me, the greatest featherweight to ever step foot in that octagon. And the resume speaks for itself. He's never been in a position, I want to say, like Islam, because see, the last fight showed people in the whole UFC community, that with the whole MMA community, period, that Islam is in fact vulnerable. He can be subdued, and he's not inhumane like a lot of people were making him out to be. If I had to bet the house on it, I'm gonna go with Khazmat, and I'm gonna go with Islam. I feel like I want Islam to win, but I do feel like Volkanovski will best him. This time I do feel like that he will win in a dominating fashion. I feel like that he will prove that he's just a level above him, maybe a level or 2 above him. When you look back to the Charles Oliveira fight that him and Islam had, it was all of these questions and all of this speculation as to if Islam was even ready for the hype, if he was ready for that moment. And he literally submit the submission king. What more can you ask? How much dominating of a fashion can you ask one to, rise above? He shut up a lot of doubters, and it's crazy because a lot of you people, y'all set up on these podcasts, y'all set up on these channels, and y'all was bashing my mans and said that he wouldn't do it, and he got it done. That's Khabib's protege, but obviously I'm gonna still go with Khabib. But back to 294 is next Saturday. I salute, and my hat goes off to both men just for stepping up. Volk coming off of that injury, I want to say, his left hand or his left wrist off 10 days notice is insane. Kamaru stepping in, with Costa after all of the chapping and jawing that he been doing, and then you pull out the fight. He had an injury as well, just like Charles had an injury, which is why he couldn't fight Islam. But Costa wanted any of that smoke. And I always had Khazmat being the better man over him, regardless. So that's just the thing with that. Now, both fighters' gas tanks are questionable, but I definitely see Khazmat pulling it off, so far as the cardio, and I just feel like his wrestling would just be a little bit too much at middleweight. We already know how much of a threat he poses at 170, at a welterweight, but the thing about it is, going up to middleweight, it will be, he's already a big boy. So seeing how he navigates with that weight, I feel like he'll do just fine. He may not be as explosive, but I feel like we're gonna really see a very, very technical fight from the co-main event and the main event. And then they're saying that the winner of that fight challenges Strickland, and I feel like that's just gonna be a nightmare, for Strickland. Now you can't underestimate Strickland like everybody would just underestimate him going against Adesanya, and Adesanya underperformed. That's the fact, and that's the truth of the matter. So, it's a coin toss, man. But going back to the Islam and Volk thing, I want Islam to win, but I really do feel like Volkanovski is going to pull this off. He's going to become another double champ. And that's going to really, really solidify him. And not only is it going to solidify him, that's going to start putting him in the GOAT conversation. I just feel like any fighter that obtained that double champ status, he has to at least be mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Ballpark in that GOAT conversation. Because that's not easy. That's something to fight and defend both titles. That's insane, and not many people have really done that at all. So, that's incredible, and I look forward to next Saturday. I cannot wait. It's literally 8 days out, and man, the press conference is going to be absolutely electrifying, and the fight is going to be one for the books. The people are going to get their money worth. So, if you have not. If you are tuned in, this is why we love MMA, baby. This is why we love the UFC. I always favored it over boxing because the best fight the best. This is why I love it better than the boxing. When it comes to like the promoters, there's all of these clause and rehydration clause. With the UFC, it's like this: I gotta cut weight just like you. I'm basically a dead fish, outside shit of the water at a press conference. Any little gallon of water that I drink, that's excess water and body fat that I have to cut. But it's basically like, look, you say you the best, you the boogeyman in my division, I'm finna fight you. You gon' sign your name on this dotted line, I'm gonna send this contract, let's get this shit done, and we gonna fight. So that's why I really favor, like the UFC, man, because it's like it's not all of that cherry picking. You got some cherry picking, and it is a lot of Dana White privilege. But at the end of the day, the best fight the best, and Dana makes it his priority to, reevaluate these situations and give the fans absolute bangers back to back to back, especially when you got guys that unfortunately have to pull out of fights or, what's ever going on in like their personal life. But overall, and then all in all, I got Islam, I got Khazmat. I cannot wait for this banger. Let me know in the comments what y'all feel. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you like this video. I will be tuning back in, post and prior to the fight. But yeah, man, let's get it, baby. UFC 294, man. Let me know what y'all think.